wanted to discuss a little bit about the topic of trad wives, the trophy wives, but I wanted to, I guess, touch on those two topics a little bit. Now, the trad wife piqued my interest because I was a stay-at-home mom for a little over 10 years. I'm recently new to the career field, so I'm trying to dibble and dabble in that now. My kids are now older. I have 3 kids. My youngest is 8, but my other 2, they're both in high school, and they're older now, so that gives me a little bit more time, not as much time, but a little bit more time to actually explore my options as a new mom to the career force. Why I feel like it's not so much as a bad thing as people are making it to be. Now, the glamorization of it can be a little bit of a questionable thing, but we're gonna go ahead and get into that. The concept of a traditional housewife has definitely evolved over time. It is shaped by culture, economics, and other different social norms. Historically, housewives were primarily responsible for managing the home, so they're raising the children, they're taking care of the husband, his needs, like, for example, let's say making lunch, cooking him dinner, keeping the house clean, taking care of his children. Different societies, women often worked alongside with their husband on farms. Now, they would do this, and they would also handle household duties. During the Industrial Revolution, for men who moved more into factory jobs, I believe this was after the war, they started moving more into those factory jobs. And I think that I may be mistaken, that may be around the time where schools had became more established, and there were also like open jobs for teaching for women. I may be mistaken, but that's what I believe I heard. In the 1950s, there was a peak of the traditional household or housewife, and this is when the women became more of it was more ideal for women to be in the home or to be housewives. And this was also in other industrialized countries. I would guess probably the UK, something that's similar to the US. Media has a big play in this. Media portrayed housewives to pretty much be so much devoted to their husbands, cooking, homemaking, like homemade food and things of that sort. And pretty much just embodying the whole entire role of being a mom, not only a mom, because not every stay-at-home woman was a mom, and being a mom or being a wife. In working class families, the trad movement was completely different for the Black community. So a lot of Black women, they had to still work along with taking care of the household. And I think that goes into so many things, or so many different aspects to why we are the way we are today as Black women. We're going to touch on that subject a little bit later as far as how the trad movement affect Black women as well, because I think those are 2 different spectrums. Now, the feminist movements in the mid-century challenged those norms as far as being a stay-at-home wife, being a stay-at-home mom, and that became more of a choice. So women didn't have to stay at home if they didn't want to. They had more opportunities to go be teachers. They had more opportunities to create their own income. They didn't more so have to depend on the man, because the laws back then only allowed men to work at the time. Now, being a traditional housewife in the Black community is a little different. It's not the same as what media portrayed back then. So the Black community did not get the same advantageous benefits that the white traditional woman did get. So for example, during slavery, Black women were forced to go in the fields, and although they were working in the fields, they also had to cater to their husband. They also had to cater to their children. So from a long time ago, Black women has been established as making money and helping the home, being a mom, being a wife. So we were able to juggle all those. Our ancestors were back then. They didn't have a choice. They were forced into it. A lot of Black women worked in service-based roles. Like they would work, you probably can think back of like a slavery movie. They would work or take care of the master's wife. They would get her clothes, get her dressed, cook for them. So this wasn't really traditional for all women. My whole take on this is I feel like being a trad wife or a trophy wife, regardless of whatever you choose to be, it should not be a position to where it's unequal love. It's excuse me, where it's unequal love, where it's unequal respect, where it's unequal understanding. There should be a balance between the two, because if a man is working outside the home and the woman feels like she has to do this and that and that and that and juggle everything because she's not providing for the home financially, she is providing for the home in different ways, just not financially. But if she's not feeling adequate enough to where she feels like she has to fill that void in other places, like by overdoing it. Oh, I have to be perfect. I have to make sure my husband comes home to a hot meal, a hot plate every night. House has to be spotless. Kids have to be together. Their grades have to be amazing. Like, yes, these are all great things that should be happening or should be occurring, but it's not something that should be forced upon. It should come naturally. It should come organically. And another reason why I feel like this can be not a bad thing is because husbands also have that urge, or that, what's the word? They have that need, or that want to be in the home as well. Because if you think about it, men are actually protectors. How are they going to protect their home if they're not there? So in modern day society, there are men who are used to work 12-hour shifts or always travel every weekend or be gone all the time. But nowadays, they're wanting to stay home with their family. But they can make money in so many different ways today. Like, you can make money from home being a dad, but being near your family. You can work, and let's say you can work in tech. A lot of tech jobs, you can stay at home and still be near your kids and your wife. They can work in being an entrepreneur. You still gain control of that time and that schedule to where you can fit your family in your workday, but also provide. And it's not something that I feel like should be glamorized, for sure. The glamorization of it is what makes it a little cringe, because this is something that did happen naturally in the 1950s. It just happened. That's the way the society's cards were laid out at that time. So the fact that it's glamorized now, and we have so many opportunities today to where we don't have to do that, it's like glamorizing it and making homemade goods and stuff and recording it and posting it online. But it's like, if you naturally fall into that role to where you have to do you have to be in a position of being a stay-at-home mom, then it's like, or a stay-at-home wife, then that's what it is. I do see why people are looking at it sideways, because it's like it goes against the feminist movement. I'm not so much for like the feminist movement. I'm okay with it, but it's like when you're overdoing it and you're pushing that too hard as well, it's like, why? Yes, women get to choose and do what they need to do, and they can work now and they can do what men do, but it's like, just let that happen organically. You don't have to make it a whole entire movement to a point to where it's like a boomerang, like it's a boomerang effect. Another thing, I do have like a reason to why these movements are being pushed, whether it's the feminist movement, whether it's the trophy wife, whether it's the trad wife movement. I feel like in today's society, there are a lot of women who have graduate high-level degrees. And what's crazy is there's more women than men, research says, that are actually gaining these degrees. Men just aren't. I mean, I understand the fact that more men do have to work, so they don't have time to actually gain those degrees. Let's be a little fair. So, I mean, it's an excuse, but it's no excuse at the same time. But in today's society, there are men who aren't pushing to get degrees, and these women are getting these degrees, and they're able to get higher up positions. They're able to progress further in life. And I feel like that could be like a subtle way of women saying men need to do better. So they're making these movements. They're trying to normalize it. That could be the case. Who knows? Now, I didn't touch too much on the trophy wife. I really do not agree with the term or the whole concept of trophy wife, because I feel like the meaning or the reasoning behind it is just, it's just not good. A lot of times when you think about the trophy wife, you're thinking about a woman who wants a man who has a lot of money and they just want somebody to take care of them. I feel like the reasoning behind that is really bad, because a man can take care of you in so many different ways other than finances. Yes, he should be able to provide as long as he provides the things you need. But a lot of these women, when they're talking about being a trophy wife, they want things such as the bags, the shoes, the clothes, the house, the cars. And these are material things, things of the world. And it's like, it don't feel right to be wanting things like that. Now, as I stated earlier with the trad wife, if that naturally and organically happens, then that is okay, because that was obtained under God. Like if you're married to a man who is a godly man, and then the man receives all these blessings, the family receives all these blessings, and it's under God, and it just happened in that manner, and then that's okay. Now, if it's happening in a manner to where it's like you're seeking out to get this stuff, so I completely disagree with the whole trophy wife situation. I want to speak quickly on the psychology perspective of a trans wife. Like I was saying earlier, it could stem from the way society is juggling gender roles today. So a lot of men don't have degrees. They're probably feeling a little lesser than, because women can now work in fields that they are in, and it's almost like making the men, some men, not all, please don't take that out of context, a little lesser than. So it's throwing off the dynamics of gender roles in today's society, and that could be why these movements are happening. It's possibly a recession happening, and women aren't getting paid as much as most men. That's been happening for years. The job market is becoming more insanely difficult, and a lot of people cannot juggle and sustain on their own as single women. So it's like, we're tired. Men help. It's almost in that manner. So I'm looking at it from that lens, from a psychology perspective. I'm thinking that could be the case. But it could be so many different instances to why. It could be like the nostalgia behind it. It could be some kind of instance to where it's like women are tired, they're burnt out. So they're feeling like the nostalgia behind it, if that's represented well in online or in media on YouTube, then that could help them in bringing those times back. It's overwhelming. Like you have to juggle a few jobs along with the side job in order to sustain in today's society. Another reason could be society or societal pushback, which is like the feminist movement. There are women who is pushing so hard the fact that yes, women can work, women can do this, we should be doing that, we can do what a man can do. And it's almost like the flip side of it. So now women are pushing back. They're like, okay, yes, women can do this, but we can also do this. This isn't a bad thing. Let's balance the tape a little bit. Being a stay-at-home mom, being a trad wife or a stay-at-home wife, it's not a bad thing. Just like being a working woman and working and being able to do what a man can do, it's not a bad thing. And as I was stating earlier with the burnout, it's like financial issues in today's society, like the fact that prices are rising everywhere. Food is rising. Gas is probably kind of low right now, but everything is rising. So it's like, it's pressures to, okay, it's too much pressure. Like some women, they cannot handle, or they do not want the pressure of everything on them. Like, oh my gosh, if I don't provide for my family, then everything's gonna fall apart. A man is more, I guess a man is more mentally able to do that, for some people's opinion. I'm not saying, because some women are more mentally able to do it than some men, but in a majority of men are more capable of doing so. Yeah, so women, it would be more so of like an attachment type theory, to where they're like, we don't want that smoke. We don't want the pressures of handling and juggling that stuff. So here you go. I will take care of you at home, where I'm going to manage all of this for you. So all you need to worry about is just getting your rest, going to work, providing, and on the back end, I got you. Almost like a lot of women have existential anxiety about what's happening in today's society. So they want to be able to control their day. Like, I don't want to possibly put myself in the line of fire. I did say one more thing, but I actually got one more thing for real this time. So pop culture or media can be, I'm just going to say pop culture. So culture could be a thing. Like, you see a lot of videos on YouTube about the soft life, a lot of influencers where they're living a specific type of lifestyle, and women are wanting that. So that could also be another thing that's pushing that narrative. But I feel like there's so many things that could push the idea of the trans wife movement, trophy wife movement. There's so many things, because naturally a woman wants security. So, and all of those things align with just that. I'm gonna go ahead and end the video right there. I think I covered everything I needed to cover. If there's something that you want to add to the conversation, definitely comment below, or share any ideas that you think could have caused this movement. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.